I know for sure, if Ukraine fails, then Putin definitely will invade the Baltic countries. Why? Not because there's some interesting idea or strategy, but because Putin wants to return the influence of the Soviet Union. And he really wants to retake, through force, through war, he wants to retake all former Soviet republics and now independent states. Whether they are in the NATO or not, he doesn't care.
President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelenskyy made this statement in an interview with the American television channel NBC News. According to him, Putin will be ready to attack NATO in the next 5 years. The Financial Times examines 2 potential attack scenarios. In the first, Russia succeeds in Ukraine and suddenly invades the Baltic states, threatening other NATO members with nuclear weapons to prevent them from joining the war. In the second scenario, Ukraine restrains Russia and the Kremlin dispenses with a direct invasion of the Baltic states. However, it uses provocation, sabotage and hybrid attacks.
It's not a question of whether Russia wants to stop, but it's a question of whether it can stop. Because when you've put all your bets on the military economy, you have millions of people who are armed and trained, and all of a sudden you say, now we go home? Ingrida Šimonytė, Prime Minister of Lithuania, from the publication by the Financial Times.
The Financial Times also claims that Russia could organize protests by the Russian-speaking population in the Baltic countries. The Kremlin has the human resources for this, since up to a quarter of the population of the Russian-speaking minority lives in Estonia and Latvia. However, the process of de-Russification has been going on in the Baltic states for a long time. In particular, the Latvian government has already decided to abandon the study of Russian as a second foreign language in schools. From the beginning of the school year, in 2026, pupils will be offered to study the official languages of the EU, Eurozone countries, or other foreign languages regulated by intergovernmental agreements on education instead of Russian.
When the state stops funding Russian language content, the process of creating a unified information space will be completed, and Russian language content will continue to exist in commercial media at private expense. From a message in the same as of Latvia, the Moscow Times reports.
Levers of influence on the Baltic states are also seen in the activities of the Russian Orthodox Church in the region. Thus, Estonia can close churches that refuse to leave the subordination of the Russian Orthodox Church, Lauri Leonemets, the Minister of Internal Affairs of the Republic, said.
Based on all the stated facts that our security forces are talking about, it says that this is a real danger. And this is a real structure that has many followers in our country and acts contrary to all our interests and all our values.
While the Russian war machine is stuck in Ukraine, the Baltic countries are also jointly investing in a common line of defense on the borders with Russia. According to the Times, states are building more than 8,000 fortified bunkers and creating other barriers in the form of dragon teeth, minefields, anti-tank ditches and barbed wire lines. Reported by Diana Kolesnik, Nikita Skoblikov, UATV News.